Hey folks, welcome to the third edition of the Odyssey Austin Swim Run at Pace Bend Park. My name is Lars Vananger, race director. I'm joined by Aaron Pallian.
Hey guys.
Thank you, Aaron, for giving us a wave, and his dog Hero, who every time we turn on the video these days, Hero, he knows. He just runs into the screen. So love it. On cue.
Yeah.
Now it's actually fortuitous that Hero's here because there are no dogs that are allowed at Camp Tex Lake where our course is being held this year. So thank you for that prompt, Hero. Folks, welcome to Swimrun. If you're new to the sport, we're thrilled that you decided to join us. Swim sport, as you'll find out this upcoming weekend. There's a lot of experienced athletes who have done our previous two editions or other events in our series. Quite a few athletes who did the Otelo World Championships this year. So just from experienced athletes to newcomers, it's a full range, but everyone has the same thing in common. It's an adventurous experience, and we're all here to have a good time. So with that said, let's talk about why we chose Pace Bend Park and the Camp Tex Lake property. Pace Bend Park is really an incredible area that's situated on Lake Travis, about 45 minutes outside of Austin, very close to the Austin airport, where many of you will fly in from if you're coming from out of state. And Camp Tex Lake itself, where the race is headquartered out of, is actually a Girl Scout property. It's a 455-acre park that's on Lake Travis, and it served as our start-finish area the past 3 years, and will again be the headquarters for the race. A lot of you are actually going to be lodging at Camp Tex Lakes as well, and we'll get into that a bit more. But really, Pace Bend Park has some incredible trails situated really in the middle of the park. Also on the outskirts where the coves are. Now, one thing that's a little bit different this year than in years past. The water levels are pretty low this year. So Lake Travis is right now at about 46% capacity. Last year it was at 60% capacity. So that's a pretty big deficit with the water levels. What that means generally, and we'll talk about some of the specific coves, is that we're going to have a lot more rock climbing, and we're going to have a lot more trail rock / bouldering getting in and out of the coves this year. It's going to mean that you're not swimming into the coves as much as in years past. You're going to be getting out of the water quite a bit before you have in years past, but it's all workable. The other thing that it means is, unfortunately, no cliff jumps for both the short course and the long course. Cliff jumps have been a really fun part of the race the last couple of years, but we don't want any injury, and it's just not safe. And the park actually has signs that prohibit cliff jumps from anywhere in the park as well. So that's for our safety, that there won't be any cliff jumps this year. With that said, we do have an awesome course set up for you, and it's going to be a great event. The long course is going to be 16 and a half total miles. That's 26 and a half total kilometers, 13 and a half of that running, 5K of that swimming. And the short course is actually a bit longer this year. It's going to be almost 12 miles total, 20K, 10 miles of that's going to be trail running, and 3K swimming. So getting more for your money there.
6K. Wait, no, I have that wrong. I'm looking at the run. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, if you want to do it two times through, it'll be
my bad, guys.
6K. But so we're going to talk a little bit more, dive into the details of some of the course in a bit, but I do want to make a few call outs here. So We actually have one athlete who's 15 years old, our youngest athlete, which is incredible. Our old and a 72-year-old both competing this year, and actually 11 athletes are 65 and up. So we've got a lot of experience out there on the course this year. 53% of you are men, 47% women. The state of Texas is bringing the most athletes to the race this year with over 100. California, Colorado, Illinois, and Florida following after that. And we've got international racers back, which is amazing. We've got a Canadian in the field, and we've got 3 athletes coming over from the UK, which is going to be awesome. So we're really excited to have you guys coming to visit us. And from those of you in Texas, we've actually got a new leader from cities. San Antonio is bringing the most athletes this year. So they've jumped over Houston, which had the most in previous years. And then Austin is bringing the 3rd most. So it's awesome that the sport's catching on in Texas, and we're thrilled to see that. Well, Aaron, take it away. Let's talk about the schedule of events and what athletes can look forward to starting Friday.
Okay, thanks, Lars. We'll get back to the course map, which is up here at the top. Lars is going to go over that with you guys. He has a lot more experience out there on the course and can speak to that. But I'm just going to scroll down. All this information's on the website, but it is good to go over it with you guys, add some points to it as we do it. So this morning I scheduled all the emails. You're going to get a packet pickup email. I believe it's Wednesday, and then a reminder one that's the exact same one, but that goes out Saturday before packet pickup. I've also scheduled, we are in need of volunteers. If you guys know anyone, that email is going to go out to everyone, including past participants and volunteers. But if any of you are traveling with people that want to be a little more involved in the race, get a meal, get a shirt out of it, help us out, that would be great. So we're definitely in need of volunteers. And then also just an overall email that just talks about some of the finer details here on the webpage, just some stuff that you guys need to know. But again, this is always up for you guys to reference. So going down a schedule of events, packet pickup is on Saturday, and we run the same format for all of our races. Saturday, the day before, packet pickup, 1 to 4 o'clock. If you get there early, odds are we're not going to be able to give you your packet early. So showing up at 1 or just before is fine. We try to.
Aaron, let me jump. Aaron, let me interject and say that there is a Swimrun meetup at Camp Tex Lake at, I want to say, 11 o'clock with the Low Tide Boys and Wild Swimrun. So if you do want to familiarize yourself with some of the course, that's actually going to be at Camp Tex Lake. So if you are planning on arriving early, you'll have something to do in advance of packet pickup, and they might lead nicely one into the next.
Yeah, great. And those guys are great. Always bring a lot of people, refer people, and they do a lot for the sport. So go out there and join them, get a look at the course. But what we want to try and do, this isn't set in absolute stone, but if we can get short course athletes, solo and team, to pick up between 1 to 2 as a majority, that really helps us. Then from 2 to 3 long course, and then 3 to 4, anyone that couldn't make their time that's assigned to them, you guys can come during that. It says Q&A and discussion, but that's kind of faded out over the years. If you have some questions, you can ask when you pick your packet up. These briefings answer most of those in the website, and we have Q&A also on the website as well. So, or FAQs, I'm sorry, not Q&A, but yeah, so that's the packet pickup schedule. We'll go over packet pickup specifically in a minute with finer detail. Race day, really easy. 5:30, you can start parking. If you're already on site, camping or staying in the lodging itself, then you don't got to worry about parking. But for those of you coming in from outside, if you let them know that you're with the race, and one of the emails that I'm sending you guys, the overall informational one, it actually has a little logo in that. So if you save that logo on your phone and you just show it to them, you can print it out too if you want. But if you show it to them at the gate, they should let you through without paying the gate charge. If you don't have that, you're going to have to pay the gate charge. So make sure you have it. If you're already in here, obviously, then you don't pay. You're on site at 6:50. And Lars, what is it? The mess hall? That's where we're at, right? Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and one point of distinction. So when you're going in through the gate, getting onto the property you're at the ranger station, you're going to want to stay on the road that stays straight. Do not turn right. If you stay straight, tell them you're going to Camp Tex Lake, you're good. But if you're going into the park, you're part of park property, and they can give you a ticket for being on the camp property. You got to go straight to Camp Tex Lake. Yes, the Camp Tex Lake dining hall is where everything's going to be situated out of.
And guys, here on the website, you can click the map and directions. You can enter the coordinates, whatever. It should take you right to this mess hall, the place where they serve the food out of. And that's where we have everything, quite frankly. It's the packet pickup, it's the start and finish. It's amazing. It's great. So just come on over there and in the morning. And you should already know where that is because you're picking your packet up there anyway the day before. So we'll do anthem and announcements about 10 minutes prior. This race is great. It starts everyone at the same time, which is cool. I always love the races that do that. We get it out of the way and you guys are gone. The only other thing really on the schedule is a 2 p.m. cutoff. And I don't know, Lars, have we ever, outside of like people wanting to withdraw from the race, have we ever really had anyone not make it? If so, it's been a very, very small amount of people.
Yeah, we've had a couple who have pushed up a little bit up against that, but nah, typically it'd be if someone's injured and needs to pull out are the only times we've ever had anyone pull out. No, I think the course cutoff's usually not something that we're missing at this race.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we still have to clean up after that, guys. So we're around past 2 o'clock, but we just like to put that in there. So all right, let's go to packet pickup specifically, which I actually have over here. It's under info, along with FAQs and rules. So read that up as well. Packet pickup, you have to pick up your own packet. It's a USA Triathlon sanctioned event. So that means you need a photo ID. You do not need whether you paid for the one day, you have an annual or whatever, we do not need your USAT license. It's all auto verified now. So we just need your ID to prove it's you. We cannot allow you, unless you're picking up for a minor, we cannot allow you to pick up anyone else's packet other than your own. We always get people wanting exception to that. Do not ask us for exception. We will not grant it. You with an ID. I already have it scheduled to send in the packet pickup email a QR code. If you have that, that's great. It helps the process along, especially if there's a line. But either way, that typically goes pretty fast there with that. We will assign your bib number on site. They all of the bibs are mediums. Now I know some of the guys and women too, you guys are going to be extra larges, some are even 2XL. For the most part, these, especially being wet, will stretch. So it is kind of a one size fits all situation. If it truly does not fit you, even after it's been wet and stretching, then carry it on you, worst case. But a vast majority of those will still fit, even though they're a medium. You're all going to get your own bib, your own number specifically. Teams will get one timing chip between you. The number will not match your bib number. That's fine. When you go to pick your timing chip up, whether you're solo or team, we're going to assign that timing chip number to your bib. So it will be associated. So don't worry about that not matching. So just to go back a little bit here, let's go through QR code, talked about that. We encourage teammates to pick up their packet together. It just makes the process easier. But if you can't, that's fine. Come get yours. As long as you're the first person on your team picking up, we're going to give you your individual packet. And then we're also going to ask that you get your timing chip. That means you need to let your teammate know that he or she needs to still pick their packet up with all of their stuff, but that you already got the timing chip, and tell them not to go get it since you already have it. That's important. We'll be able to distinguish who's gotten it and who hasn't on the team, but you'll really help us out in all of that if you tell them not to get it since you have it. In your packet, you're going to get a number singlet. That's what we refer to as the bib. Wear that during the race at all times. You're going to get a silicone swim cap. Each of you get one of those as well. You'll each get a collapsible cup. Teams will get one timing chip. Solo gets one on their own. And for those that are doing solo, you will get a free or a complimentary rental of those rest tubes. So Lars, you want to talk about the rest tube for a second and what that means to solo athletes?
Yeah, so the solo category is one that we added a couple of years ago. It's really been awesome to to as a first step to get athletes into the sport of swim run. But if you're doing a solo race, the rest tube is your teammate. And so, one of the reasons that we love the team aspect of the racing is because it's a built-in safety mechanism for us. You can always take care of one another. But if you're a solo athlete, this is your buddy out there on the course. It's a rest tube that you just wear right around your waist. In the past, we've had those big inflatable buoys that you've had to kind of carry like a football. But this is your safety tube. If, in the case of an emergency, you need to deploy the tube, there's a yank cord that you would just pull and a yellow tube would pop out. There's a CO2 cartridge that automatically fills it up, and you can use that for flotation or to wave to get one of the jet ski or kayaks attention. I don't think we've ever had to deploy one of these, and no athletes ever had to deploy one in a previous race, but it's a safety mechanism for you. There's also a whistle on that tube as well.
And guys, so those are so hard to repack, by the way. We do have some that accidentally people have pulled during the race, and we always have a couple at the finish. But yeah, I don't know of any situation where we've deployed them from a safety standpoint, but they're good for sure.
And with that said, don't ever feel like you shouldn't deploy it. If you if you want a tube deployed that you carry around the whole time, feel free to do that. Don't feel like you shouldn't deploy it. If you're in a situation, we would rather you have that out than in.
And keep in mind, guys, if we see those deployed, we're probably, let's say you deploy it in more of a help situation than an emergency, and you're using it as a flotation to kind of get through that swim. If you do that, don't be surprised if we come up on you thinking it's an emergency, because we tell our kayaks and everyone out there to approach that situation as an emergency. So if that's the case and it's not, then just let them know, and you can carry that with you kind of the same way you would those inflatable pill or football shaped ones. We do need those back at the end. We're not going to penalize you if they are inflated. So just as long as we get them back at the end, and that goes for the timing chips and the straps too that go with those. Other than that, and the rentable wetsuits that 40 of you have rented, those are the only items we need back. Wetsuits, rest tubes, timing chips, and straps. Everything else is yours to keep, including the bibs. So just know that at the end. And get those back to us, please. Make sure with the wetsuits, if you rent one of those and you return them, make sure you empty all the pockets, get everything off of that, give it back to us empty. Makes it a lot easier on us, guys. And then, yeah, let's keep going down the list here. Oh, the wetsuits. So if you rented those during packet pick or during registration, we'll have those on site for you. When we started registration for this race, we offered a packet mailing and a race morning option instead of packet pickup. They were two separate options. This race, that changed real quick. So very few of you selected the mailing option. Many of what we have is the race morning option, but just know that those morphed together into only race morning option. We switched everyone that was getting a mail, because mailing's been terrible this year. So if you're one of those athletes that either got the mailing or the race morning, we'll have your whole packet for you ready race morning. It will be in a bag with your name on it, on a table that you can either come get on your own, or someone might be in there to get it. But those will be on a table, nicely organized. You grab it. It's got everything in there you need. And I don't know how many that is. I would guess it's like 40 or 50 people total. Everyone else has to pick up the day before. I believe I still have that available. You can switch that and pay the $15 or $20 fee for the next few days if you need to do that. That is definitely an option for you to do. The wetsuits themselves, those for those people that are picking up race morning, those will also be on the table or in the bag, one of the two. And if they're on the table, your name will be on that as well. We are going to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lars, I think they approved us doing this, but we have a big inventory of ARC equipment that we are going to be able to sell on site as well, correct?
Yeah, ARC's U.S. inventory is all going to be at the Odyssey Austin race. So, whether that's picking up a wetsuit for this race, you can certainly do that. Or if you're just making plans for next year already and you want to buy a suit that is already here in the US and you don't have to wait for shipping might get a better deal as well. We're going to have suits available, so definitely come with that in mind. Geez, I think there's also
There's everything. There's
pull
medics,
buoys.
there's
Yeah,
pulley paddles.
so it's going to be a bit of an arc bonanza out there.
We have 16 boxes of inventory, so we're gonna have those out there. And just to be clear, these are all new items. They're not the used wetsuits that we sometimes sell at the end of the year. That may still be coming, but this is new stuff if you guys want to check it out, for sure. And we'll have a lot of
Yeah,
inventory.
and this is really
Go ahead.
yeah, and this is really exciting because ARC, we are partnered with them, but they're the premier wetsuit manufacturer in the sport of swim run. So, these are top of the line suits. They've got the full range from entry level all the way up to, for hot days and for cold temperatures, everything in between. So, yeah, do some research on arcsports.com and come ready with what you might be looking for.
And we'll also have special edition shirts, hoodies, mugs, a lot of other merchandise from this race. And since it's the end of the year, we're going to have a healthy supply of stuff from the other events as well. Some of that discounted. So stock up, help us eliminate some of this inventory. We accept cash or card, whatever you want to bring. So just a little plug for that. Results real quick for that. I've already updated this. So for those of you that want to share, Pace Bend Park, right now it's not showing anything, but this is the page. It's linked on the website. So that will start to populate the results for you guys. You can just visit that or share it with anybody you want. And photos will take probably, I would guess, 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be doing some promotional stuff, but we also have, as usual, the participant photos. So give those just a little time. We'll email you those when they're ready. And let's return here now to the Austin page. Real quick, before I pass this off to Lars, we've covered, this is the briefing, obviously, the park fee, change of clothes bags. So prior to the event, if you guys want to bring a change of clothes, if you're close enough, you want to leave it in your lodging, that's fine. If you want to bring it along that morning, that's fine too. You can put that anywhere in that mess hall that you want. We'll probably designate a little area, but really anywhere in there is acceptable. Just don't block the area with the bags that people are picking up that morning, the packets, or anywhere in the merchandise area. Keep it on the far end along the wall or the window area. We've gone over cutoffs. We'll cover restrooms and hydration with Lars doing the course stuff, but the restrooms in the beginning are within that hall area there. Lars, actually, real quick, are there restrooms anywhere on the course?
Yeah, this is one of the nicest things about Pace Bend Park is there are restrooms at almost every cove camping area, which means that it's usually either at a swim entrance or swim exit. You'll typically be able to find a restroom. So you may have to go a little bit off the actual course that we prescribe, but there will be restrooms. I bet there's a half a dozen throughout the course. So
and they're standing actual structures, guys. They're not porta cans like
these are not porta potties. These are structures that they have that the camp operates.
So real quick on safety, just to keep it brief, we are going to have medics. We'll have one at the or medical team. Some are medics, some are nurses, or whatever we compile for that team. But we will have a couple cars out on the course, and then we'll also have someone stationary at the finish line. We'll have kayaks at every swim. They'll reposition as you guys go, and a couple jet skis out there too, just for kind of quick access to get places and evac if we need to do anything there. Help each other while you're out there though, guys, because while we do have safety and water vessels and medics or medical team members, it is a big course and we cannot cover it all. We do the best we can, but we also rely on you guys to take care of each other the best you can out there and relay anything to us that is in between where we have people. So
hey Aaron, let's double click on that a little bit here quick. It's extra important this year, guys, to talk to not only you and your teammate, but talk to other racers as well. And it's especially important if you're a solo athlete. Talk to teams that are out there, talk to other solo athletes. But talk about, give your other athlete, your other peers on the course advice on where to get out of the swims or where to get into the swims. There's going to be, because of the water levels this year, there's going to be some debris out on the course, meaning some trees that are exposed, extra rocks out there. Take extra precaution. We always say you can't win the race, on any of these rock sections like a Vail Island at Casco Bay Island where it's, boulders, but you can certainly end your day and lose a race, by going too quickly over these. Make sure that your shoes have, grip that that's so not worn out, but a lightweight trail shoe that's really grippy rubber. It's you're going to want to be attentive and share that information with one another this year.
Good advice, sir. Yep. And all right, well, there's only just a couple things here. Awards. You guys can help us out with the awards. Lars's dad is announcing the event, and he does a great job. But part of the issue with the awards is while it's really good that we did grab and go because people don't have to wait around, and an award ceremony is nice, but if you're waiting around all day and you got other stuff to do, you want the grab and go. And it's been very well received to give the awards out as you guys cross the line. We're going to continue to do that, but sometimes because of the results feed and excuse me, the results feed, and maybe sometimes it takes just a little bit of time to update. What we find is that you guys will go through the finish, and Lars's dad, Mark, he may have it right away and know who that is and what you get, or it may be a second. So when you cross the line, if you think there's any chance at all you want an award, then stick around, come back up, maybe ask him. And then also, if you don't and you wander off, check the results. And if you are top 3 for your team or solo and you think you won an award later on, please come back, because we don't want to have to charge you to ship or not be able to give that out to you or whatever. We want you to get it on site. So it's just sometimes it's a little tough, because if everyone crosses and we don't get it to you right away and you don't come back, we're stuck with the awards, and we don't want that. So help us out a little bit there, guys.
And maybe the perfect way to do that is, once you cross the line, you return your rest tube, you return your timing chip, you go right into the dining hall, which is where the food spread is set up for your post-race meal. Hang out in there for 5, 10, 15 minutes. There's also tons of lounging around outside of the mess hall, where you can watch people coming in to finish. Just hang around the venue for 15 minutes. There's showers that are pretty close by as well. Clean up, stop back by.
Well, and for a lot
all
of
this
you,
to say, give it 10, 15 minutes.
For a majority of you, though, you're actually going to cross the line and you'll probably know that you're going to get an award, or Mark will actually know that right then. So this really only applies to, a little bit of you guys, but still help us out with that. So I think I've gone over everything I need to. So I'm going to click on this course map. And as soon as it pulls up, I will pass this off to Lars. He's going to talk about that and the aids or the water stops, and how we do course marking and all of that. So this is taking forever. I don't know why. Let me try and.
Yeah, I mean, so there's some excellent resources that we've done in past years. The Low Tide Boys, who we mentioned before, did a very thorough course overview on their podcast. I would certainly recommend, and we can share a link actually in an email that we send out here. I would certainly recommend listening to that course map podcast. It's with myself and one of the other race directors, John Stevens, who helped set that up. But we talk about just the interior of the course, what to expect. The course is modified a bit this year from those past years, but it still helps you get an idea of what is going on with the race course. So what notice, and if you look at the race course at all in recent weeks, the course is actually going the opposite way than what it's gone in the past. So in past years, we had access to the Highland Lakes camp and conference center. Some of you may have even stayed on that property. They have undergone a new ownership change, and so they've kind of changed what they're allowing groups access to. And unfortunately, events like ours are not currently allowed to use that property. So that was one of the reasons for that course change, is because we're not allowed access to that Highland Lake camp property right now. So as such, we're going to be going counterclockwise with our course this year. Camp Tex Lake it's our start finish area, and we're actually it's a massive, again, 455 acres. We're going to utilize more of the trails this year, as well as adding another swim lake onto that property, which will be really fun. It's a great property, and we're just excited that we get to use more of it. You know, by and large, the overviews of the trails, you know, they're really rocky, lots of roots. They're very twisty, very turny. You want to utilize what's called heads-up racing, where you just, when we're out there on the course, unlike a triathlon or unlike other events, a running race that you may do where volunteers are pointing you in the direction of where you want to go. In Swimrun, it's up to you. And so what we do is we put up course markings, including flagging tape typically every couple hundred every 100 yards or so. Sometimes it's more sporadic than that. But that's directional arrows. So we want you to stay and remain on a course. We're going to put up flagging tape, which we hang from tree branches and is brightly colored. So you're going to want to follow that. At points where there's big intersections, where you might be faced with the decision, do I go which one of these three ways? We'll be using directional arrows, which will be on about a 3-foot high stake, which will point you with an arrow in the direction that we want you to go. And then out of each of the swims, we'll be having about a 10-foot teardrop flag, which is a bright yellow, neon yellow color. Very visible, very easy to see, and you'll be using that as your identifier where to get out of the swims. The swims are all pretty nice because you're going to be going out into the lake a bit further than you have in past years, because it is quite a bit lower than in past years. But the lake itself is I mean, it's a lake. It's very swimmable. It's deep. You're just going to be going out further into it than you have in years past, but you're still going to be swimming parallel to the cliffs. So you're going to be swimming parallel to the park, and with the majority of those, you're going to exit the water into a cove. And so when you see yourself getting to one of those coves, you know, just start breathing, not into the body of the lake, but start breathing and look for markers, you know, to see if that's the cove where you need to be going into. You know, Aaron, I don't think that we really need to specifically go onto any of these trails. You know, I guess if we scroll down, to the south part of the map a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
talk about where they split, probably.
Okay, the two coves in particular I want to talk about that we put eyes on. The one called Gracie Cove, which is after the long swim. Yep, there. So Gracie Cove and Baldwin Cove are the two where, if you've done our Casco Bay Island race, there's an island called Vale Island. And what it is, it's about a half a mile of rocks and boulders where you're not running through it. You're, you know, kind of doing a bit of a rock scramble in a way. Well, these are going to be coves that's I'm going to dub vertical veil, because you're not going around, but you're going down from where you're swimming into, and you're wanting to go up. So you're going to be doing some bouldering that's going to stair step you up onto the trail section. and you're going to want to take your time. You're going to want to help one another, but it's very doable. You're just going to want to watch your footing. That's where those grippy shoes are really going to come in nicely, and you're always going to be going up into those sections. And so um, Gracie Cove is one of those, and the other one is Baldwin Cove, which, if you remember, in years past, there was this line or a slack line that went over the cove. Yeah, right where your cursor is there, Aaron. And that's the other cove where there's a pretty big bouldering field that you're going to be going up, similar to what Vail Island is again in Maine, but it's going to be more of a vertical veil. So, but other than that, the course is pretty straightforward. Again, just to reiterate, there are going to be no cliff jumps this year. Again, in the years past, the day or two before the race, even if you decided you weren't going to do the cliff jump in the race, a lot of people would go and do some cliff jumps. There's just too much exposed rock on the bottom of those right now, and so you'll see park signs that say, absolutely no cliff jumps, cliff jumping prohibited, and follow those signs. That they're there for a reason, and you'll see why that's the case. But
Hey, Lars, they
you're
get
not
in
jumping
down
into
here, right?
actually. Yeah. So yeah, okay. I see you're going to change that portion of it. Yep, you're going to run probably a couple 100 yards further down than where you jumped in the past, right to that very point of where the rocky ledge is.
Oh, down here.
Yep, all the way down there.
Okay.
So, the good news is you're going to be about a minute and a half to 2 minutes faster on your course time, because you're not going to have to swim that section. So that's a course modification that we'll make, and the map will be updated with that. Yeah, Aaron had brought up the point of an intersection where the long course and the short course deviate from one another. That is after the Gracie Cove swim. The short course this is a new run for you guys this year. As you can see, we're using, one side of an entirely different side of the course than we've used with the short course in years past. Right at that road, we're going to have the short course go back up towards Camp Tex Lake. The long course will continue running down on what's called the Grisham Trail, but that'll be the longest run of the day for the short course, almost 4 miles. We're going to have some water coolers there. We're going to have some aid with gels, precision hydration, electrolytes, and precision hydration fuel in a gel like this. But make sure you take one of those. It's an almost 4 mile run. It's going to be twisty and turny, and it's going to take you a bit of time. So make sure you stock up on some aid before you hop in there.
And
might
Lars,
also suggest getting a flask and or electrolytes, and take that on the go with you as well to use.
Lars, am I correct to assume that, guys, we usually, out of all of our water stops, have at least one or two that have snacks or peanut butter sandwiches or whatever we have, and I'd be correct to assume that this station will have that, probably, right? As one of them.
That's probably the one that makes the most sense to have some real solid food. And yeah, that'll be, that's usually kind of finger food, whether it's some kind of cookies or some kind of peanut butter and jelly. We typically do something that just offers a little bit more substance. But by and large, the pH gels are what we provide out there on the course. If there's something that you need or that works well for you in training, then we certainly recommend that you bring that yourself.
And we have water and pH electrolyte water at every stop as well, guys.
Yep, water and pH will be there. I'm drawing a blank on if there are actually water fountains out there on the course. I don't think there are, and so you'll want to use the water coolers that we have set out as likely the only water that you're going to find out there. So, again, make sure you're not just blowing um, past those. Take some time, stop. You're going to have a collapsible cup that you can drink out of. Again, I would also recommend buying or bringing a flask if you have one. That can be water on the go for you, and last it in between the aid stations.
So guys, this map's great when you're on site too. If you have your phone on you that morning or the day before, if you want to see where everything's at, it'll show you as a little blue dot on there, GPS dot, so you can wander around and see where actually all of these things are. So if you look in the legend over here, and this will look a little different on your phone, it's not quite as easy as it is on a desktop, but you can see I've labeled where the showers are. If you're doing lodging with us, the lodging is also shown on here. There's parking where you should park. There's the start line, the finish, and then this mess hall here where everything's going to be. So if as far as lodging goes, guys, those of you that want lodging, there's still lodging available. I think we have like maybe 25 rooms left, and the only thing is you do have to bring your own pillow and your own sheets. But the lodging is still available. It's very affordable. For those of you that do choose to use the lodging and you have that, you've added it to your registration. Just know that Wednesday is probably when we're going to assign all of the rooms and go about that. So by end of day Wednesday, look for an email from us. If you don't get one by Thursday morning when you wake up, then please reach out to us. Maybe it went to spam or it just didn't get through. And if you need to still add that, and this goes for changing anything on your registrations at any time, guys, log into your Run sign up account. Go under, there's a section in your profile where it lists the races you're signed up for. Click manage registration. Once you do that, the top menu area, it goes to have links where you can transfer events, which that means from solo to team or long to short course or whatever. You can do that. And then also it says add-ons. If you click that, it'll take you to that and you can add on whatever you need to. And that's where the lodging is as well. And then it'll prompt you for payment and you complete that and you're done. So a lot of this stuff you guys can do on your own. 95% of anything you need done, you can do there on your own.
One of the cool things, and we don't care either way if you decide to stay on Camp Tex Lake, but it is a very, very convenient place to stay as long as you are okay with the somewhat primitive lodging. But if you need a hotel, there are hotels nearby. I'm sure many of you have probably already secured those by now. But 355, room for 355 on this Camp Tex Lake. It's a massive property. It ranges from everything from tent spots to all the way up to climate controlled quarters that we have. But really a nice thing that we're providing for those staying here is access to that dining hall and in the meals. So and Aaron, with your cursor there, will you just go over by that swimming pool really quick? If you are not staying on the Camp Tex Lake property and using the showers that you have access to, by that swimming pool, and it'll be a little bit of a walk from the mess hall, maybe a quarter mile or so, but there are showers that are on that property for anyone not staying on Camp Tex Lake. You can, if you're a racer, you can shower off, over in that swimming pool area after the race.
And when you guys pull in, this goes for lodging, especially the night before or whenever you end up getting there, 2 nights before, you're going to check in, and I'll put this in the email, but just so you know where it's at, right here in this building, there will be someone to check you in. And if you have any issues, like you come to check in after hours, we'll give you some instructions on that. Very few do, but we can accommodate there. But all of you guys are going to check in here and they will direct you on where to go. And you should know, just based on this map, I've labeled what the name of the lodging is on both of these lodging areas over here and over there. So that's all I got. Anything else, Lars?
No, we're just really excited. I know you're gonna have a great time at Swimrun. The coolest thing that really is inspiring to myself and Aaron and all of our staff. With each of these races, especially seeing people trying this sport for the first time, is the smiles. When you've completed this and finished. it's just such a, you're doing this race because of the adventure, because of the experience. Time is really irrelevant. From one year to the next, there's no such thing as a personal best or a PR or whatever it is. So, just really soak up the experience. That's what Swimrun's all about. Enjoy nature, enjoy one another out there. Talk to your fellow athletes. It's just a great way to finish the season here with something entirely different. So we're really, really stoked that you, decide to come and race with us. And, just the one thing that we, encourage you to do is, if you have a great time, make sure that you go back home to wherever you're from and tell at least one other person in your, triathlon club or multi-sport community, about Swimrun. Because we definitely want to keep this community growing, and we really lean on you guys, each of you, to share the experience that you had with those back home. So thanks again for for choosing Odyssey, and we can't wait to see you this upcoming weekend.
And let me just add real quick before we sign off here, guys. We take a lot of pride in, when we choose new locations, them being completely different, so that you guys get a really unique experience, especially if you do more than one in a year. And so you can see the events we have on our website. We're going to add Florida to that pretty quickly here. And we should be able, before Thanksgiving, hopefully, to open registration. Within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll have the webpage up too, so you can see all the information on that. But please, guys, even if you only do one a year, maybe vary that from location to location, so you get the true experience of what we're trying to offer you guys here.
I'm going to roast Aaron a little bit here. I'm going to push him to hopefully get that Florida website up. For those of you who are coming to Texas, maybe you can have first stab at getting signed up for that. But yeah, thanks, Aaron, for mentioning that. Florida is going to be an amazing venue. It's actually on the Emerald Coast, so it's called the Florida Panhandle, which is it's closer to Pensacola, Panama City, Destin area. So it's an unbelievable spot, and that race is going to happen March 5th. It's a new race. The swims are in these natural phenomenons called coastal dune lakes, and we'll talk more about it this upcoming weekend. But yeah, we're super excited to have that race taking place this upcoming spring. So as Aaron said, we do have some other races in our series, and if you have a great time at Austin this upcoming weekend, look at some of those as well.
All right, guys, great. Well, we'll see you out there. If you have any questions, please email me, and we'll go from there.
See you this weekend.
See you guys.